So hi everybody and welcome back to the Unreal Engine 5 tutorial series for absolute beginners, and this is video number 50 in which we fix our game mode problems which we had in our last video. So what was the problem? I started the game and I pressed start and here it worked. It's wrong. Let me show you what I mean with that. Here's my gameplay. Here's my game menu. And of course it works because I have disconnect this one. So the problem was, this is our game mode for our main menu, and this is our game mode for our gameplay. This one I will explain you here in a moment. And here one more fix which I've forgotten perhaps. In set input mode UI only, the focus, the widget which we are going to focus, you get it from the create widget. Then you pull here this out and connect it here, but then it looks like this perhaps. Let me make this fast again. So you pull out here and connect because it's asking to which focus we should log in or not logging, and then it looks like this. Double click here and here. I don't know, perhaps I did this or I don't know, it was not connected in this version, so let's make it again. And when you click this again, then two things, these reroute nodes, and then we have it. So let's go on. That was not the problem. That was just what I missed. Let's continue here with our problem. So what is the problem again? So when I start the game, I pressed here and I can't move. So before I could move, and the problem was, let me show you this again. When I disconnect this one, which means the gameplay controller is setting it not to input mode UI only, then let's compile this, save this fast, and start this again, and we see now I can move. And what happens here is I have misunderstood a little the concept, or I forgot it just because I made other things. And the thing was here, this, let me connect this back to this place where it was, so you can see this again. What I disconnected, I just connected the viewport with the set input mode UI only. And the problem is this gameplay controller is persistent. And what does this mean? I have to explain here. And before I explain the player controller, let me start with the game mode. So first of all, we go on the map. Then we go now, in which place, world settings, and here I said this is very important. Here we have the game mode. We start with the game mode. What means persistent? Persistent means when the game is created and we press play, there will be loaded this game mode. But there's a question. How long will be this loaded? For example, if I start here, I change here the level, will be this game mode here also be loaded, or is it not loaded? Like some questions like that. And I can't explain all this here in detail. You have to look a little bit at the documentation. I make just a thumb rule definition explanation so that you can understand it a little bit. In general, there are some classes here who are all-time persistent, means here all-time active till you close it. So for example, this game mode, what you see here, when I started, I play here around in this level, and then till I close it here, this button, this will be active because this one controls all. In our case, it's a little bit different. We just activate this one, I press here start, but then I activate another game mode. This is an override. Override means now this game mode counts, but this game mode will be all time activate till I close this game, or and this means persistent all time. Let's call it all time. But the problem is here, the other classes which we will talk later on, some are not all time persistent and some are. And the mistake what I did with the player controller, I thought here I coded this section, and I thought when we switch the level, this one will be resetted. The player controller, I set here some settings. These settings are saved now here in the player controller, which is actually our player controller setting here. So, and that was a mistake. What I thought is it is not taken over to the next level. So let me show you what I mean with that. Here I start, the player controller is here. When I press start, then I thought the player controller is resetted at the default values, which means it should not have this what I coded here. But the point is it still has the settings, and how I can show you that with this little code what I made here. So what I go in our, let's make this from scratch. I show you this one else not. So when you open up your game mode play, and then you click here, right click, event begin play, event begin play. This is the all-time node which we almost use in game mode, similar like our main menu. Here we start with this one too, which means when I press play, this one will be triggered. And here I show you the mistake that the setting from before is still visible. And how I do this, I just create faster widget again, create widget, and oops, you know this node 2 in I hope, create widget. It's the same thing what we did here as well. We select our class, the widget class which we want to create, and we add this to the viewport. We pull out here, add to viewport, and here we select this one, and this one is adding this one to the viewport. And now when I go here back and start the game, start here, and you can see it is adding here the viewport, and when I click the mouse, it's still here. Okay, the only missing thing what I did not here was show mouse cursor, mouse controller, which we did here. Let's make this here. What I did, let's show it not. Let's make it from scratch. Here, the same thing here. I make this one show mouse cursor, and to show it, we need the player controller. So let's make this one. Okay, get player controller, and you see the player controller node is important one, and all time we use it all time again. You will get used to it if you not know it. All time with index 0. This means it is the first player which I assigned, and then we can drag out this one and show mouse cursor, because I want to see the mouse cursor here. Set show mouse cursor, and in our case, we set this. This is interesting that this one is not set. Perhaps this is wrong, because normally this one should be set here too, I think. But anyway, let's continue a little bit. And then when I go here on this map, start, and you see now this is the normal thing what I have, what I should not have if it's not persistent, which means when we go here in the code, which means if this is resetted, here should be nothing. But anyhow, it is still set. And how we solve this, a easy fix. Instead, we can make this here. We can use this one. Let's delete this. This was just a thing. We go to the game mode again. We can say here instead, like here before in our other game mode, in game mode main menu, here we said set input mode UI only. This time we said set input game only. So it's a very easy fix actually. We don't need the widgets again because I don't want to activate them here. So I delete them. From begin play, I go here and set input mode game only. This one. I connect this one, compile it, save it, go on the top, go in my main menu again, start, press, and you see it's automatically in game mode now. And that was what I expecting before, but yeah, that was a little bit messy. If you don't understand what I did here, that was just fixing a stupid code. It's actually straightforward. The only thing what we really did was this, and this is just event begin play node, and get the player controller and set input mode game only this time, not more, not less. So all what I explained, if you doesn't understand that, no problem. Here the only thing which you should understand is this one. When the game starts here in this game mode, it will set input mode game only and get player controller. One more thing about my persistent talk. I said, for example, when I start this one, there are something which is not persistent, and you can see the widget blueprint is actually also not really persistent. And how we can see that, because here the widget blueprint is there, but when I click start, it's not here, even I have not deactivated the widget, because it's automatically kicked it out. That's very important, but this thing you have to read in the documentation what persistent means and so on. So this was just this little fix. I hope it was not too confusing, but yeah, this is a little bit important later. And because it was so confusing, I stopped this video here, and in the next in the next video we continue with our regular stuff, which is we are creating here something in this map. We're setting up, but before we do that, we have to talk a little bit again, but not about fixing stuff, about gameplay, how we plan ahead. And see you in the next video. Bye.